Hello everyone, I am Chirag Patel from LG Institute of Engineering and Technology in the Department of Electronics and Communication. Welcomes you to the session of wireless communication. Today I am going to discuss about MID4, that is multiple access technique, with topic TDMA and CDMA. So let's start the session. As we discussed in the last session of multiple access techniques, that we can find out the number of channels by using the equation for the TDMA, that is given by the M into BT minus 2 times B guard divided by BC, where BT is the number of total band available, B guard is guard band available, and BC is our channel bandwidth. So if we put all the values, we can get the answer for number of channels. Here the difference between the equation of number of channels of FDMA and TDMA differs by the term M. Here the term M denotes the number of users. So as I said, BT is the total spectrum, B guard is guard band available, and BC is band channel bandwidth. So we can calculate the efficiency of channel by using as a percentage of the bits per frame. So the percentage of bits per frame can be calculated in terms of the bit overhead and the total number of bits. So the total number of bits depends on the number of reference bits, bits of preamble bits, guard bits, and the reference bits. So as we have already discussed about this formula in the last session, so the final equation for the bit efficiency, it will be given in terms of the total bits available for that channel. So total bits can be given as a BT, that is TF into R. So we can calculate the final efficiency as a equation for prime efficiency, that is given by beta F is equal to 1 minus bit overhead divided by BT into 100. Next topic is CDMA. CDMA means code division multiple access. Here the many number of users share the same set of carrier frequency. In case of CDMA, the narrow bandwidth signal is multiplexed with the single spreading signal. Now, in case of FDMA, what will be done is individual user uses the individual frequency band. In case of TDMA, what will happen is the multiple user can access the time slot, while in case of CDMA, narrow band message signal is multiplexed with the spreading of large bandwidth of signal. So here in case of CDMA, one pseudo random sequence is generated that is called as a TN sequence for that system. Because of the CDMA, the user will require a particular code word to access the channel. Here, the main limitation of CDMA is its near-far effect. Near-far effect is because of the unbalance of the power level at the transmitter and receiver side. So because of that unpredictable power level, or maybe the unbalance of power, this near-far effect will be generated. So it may occur the interference, but somehow some amount of interference level is comparatively less than the TDMA in case of the code division multiple access, because in this case the pseudo random sequence is generated, and that's why the chances of error in this case is somewhat less. Next is, obviously because of the unbalance of power control is necessary in this case. Obviously it has a soft capacity limit, means user can change. If the number of user increases, then the interference level increases. If you want the less amount of interference, then the required number of users should be as minimum as possible. So it is completely has a soft capacity limit, means it depends on the number of users and interference. So we can say that as number of user increases, interference level also increases. Now let's see the comparison between the various techniques FDMA, TDMA and CDMA. So first let's compare with the different parameters. First parameter is about the method that can be used for FDMA. So in case of FDMA, you can see that the overall band is shared by many stations. Means individual user uses the individual set of frequency band. In case of TDMA, what happens is time sharing can be done, while in case of CDMA, sharing of bandwidth as well as frequency and bandwidth as well as time slot both can be possible in case of code division multiple access. Now, next parameter is about the synchronization. Synchronization is unnecessary in case of FDMA. Why? Because in case of FDMA, individual user uses the individual frequency band, and because of that, the synchronization is not necessary at the end of the receiver end for the FDMA. In case of CDMA, because the data transmission is done in case of frame, so in that case of TDMA, the synchronization is essential. In case of CDMA, also it is not required because every time the sugar atom sequence is generated, and that's why the synchronization is not necessary for the case of CDMA. Next parameter is code word. So in case of FDMA, it is not required because it is transmitted in terms of frequency band. In case of TDMA, again it is transmitted in terms of time slots, but in case of CDMA it is required because the PN sequence is generated and it is related with the code word because the narrow band signal is multiplexed with the large band signal, and that's why here the code word is required. Next parameter is handoff. Means the transferring of mobile from one base station to another base station in case of FDMA. Obviously, the hard handoff is required because first it is one type of predetermined set of channel allocation, and because of that predetermined type of channel allocation, we can say that in case of hard handoff, the first the original cell or the original distribution will break, and then the new channel or set is available to the user. That means it is like a break before make type of connection in case of FDMA. In case of TDMA, it is a type of soft handoff. Means first the new connection will be made and then the old connection will be broken. So it is a type of soft handoff. In case of TDMA, if we want to talk about the TDMA, then in that case also the soft handoff means the first distribution will be done for the newer cells and then the older connection will be broken. The next parameter for the comparison is allotted bandwidth for that. So in all the three cases, the allotted bandwidth is 12.4 for 12.5 megahertz for CDMA, 12.5 megahertz for FDMA. Okay. Now, if we want to talk about the required channel bandwidth, so in case of required channel bandwidth, in case of FDMA, it is 0.03 megahertz. In case of TDMA also, it is 0.03 megahertz, and in case of CDMA, it is 1.25 megahertz. Now, we have the value of allotted bandwidth for FDMA, TDMA and TDMA, and even we have the value of the channel bandwidth. So by using these two parameters, we can calculate the total number of channels for all the three cases. So the total number of RF channels can be got by the ratio of the number of allotted bandwidth divided by channel bandwidth. So in case of FDMA, it is 416. In case of TDMA, again it will be 416, but in case of CDMA, it is 10 by dividing allotted bandwidth by channel bandwidth. Next parameter is usable channel per cell. So in case of FDMA, usable channel per cell is 57. In case of TDMA also it is 57. While in case of CDMA, it is number of 8. If we want to talk about the interference, then in the last session we have discussed that in case of FDMA, because of the various variables of IEM, intermodulation, there will be a non-linearity generated and that will create a distortion of the signal. So interference effect of FDMA is due to its non-linearity. In case of TDMA, it is due to the incorrect synchronization because when we transmit the signal in terms of frame, so that's why in that case the incorrect synchronization will affect at the receiver end. In case of CDMA, both the interference will be present because in case of CDMA, the narrow band signal is multiplied with the large band signal, and that's why here we write that the both type of interference due to non-linearity as well as due to the incorrect synchronization both will be present. If we want to talk about the system complexity, then in case of FDMA, we can say that individual user uses the individual time slot, and that's why in case of FDMA, the somewhat complexity is less because the individual user uses the same individual channel, so more related to the complex system. In case of TDMA, it is flexible, means as per the user requirement, user can use the particular time slot, so it is somewhat flexible system. And in case of CDMA also, it is a flexible system because it is a combination of time slots also. If you want to talk about the sharing of the resources, then in case of FDMA, each user uses the individual channel, and that's why there is no term of sharing present in case of FDMA, frequency division multiplexes. That's why we write here that each user is allocated a unique channel, means no sharing is possible, means resource wastage is the main limitation of this FDMA system. In case of CDMA, each user makes use of non-overlapping time slots, while in case of CDMA, each user has its own PM sequence. So there is a sharing of resources is possible in case of PDMA as well as in case of CDMA. Next technique that we can use for multiple access is the one important technique is OFDM. Its full form is orthogonal frequency division multiplexing. Now the best feature of it is narrow bandwidth. We have seen in the case of FDMA that there is a chance of resource wastage because of individual user uses the individual frequency band, and that's why here the main limitation of frequency division multiplexing can be overcome by using the narrower bandwidth. The second is efficient power utilization. In case of CDMA, we have seen that there is a near-far effect, means unbalancing of power will be done, so it can be reduced by the efficient use of power utilization, and that can be possible with OFDM. Elimination of intermodulation process, or in case of FDMA, we have seen that there is a non-linear effect and IM products are present there. So elimination of intermodulation product is possible with OFDM. Here in this figure you can see that the multiple frequencies are multiplexed with the orthogonal. Now the orthogonal means a correlated signal. So here there are 6 multicarriers can be used at a time to access by the user. So the next is how one can use the OFDM transmitter. So the same block diagram can be used for the receiver, and if we reverse the process. So first let's see for the OFDM transmitter. The first block is FEC. FEC means forward error corrector block or forward error coder block. Then the second is interleaving mapping. Interleaving mapping is done to convert the random error in terms of the burst or in terms of frame structure. Now, if once it will be converted into the frame structure or burst format, you have to take the IFT, means inverse Fourier transformation of that particular set will be done. Then guard interval should be there. Guard interval will be used to reduce the error level. Then symbol shaping will be done, and then it will be given to the in-phase modulation, because it will be applied to the transmitter side, so we use the in-phase modulator. If you want to use it as a receiver, and you have to use here the in-phase demodulator instead of the modulator, and then it will be applied to the mixture and lastly to the antenna. So this is the block diagram of OFDM transmitter. First forward error corrector block, then you have to convert the random errors into the burst format. After that, you have to format that in a particular set. For that, you have to do the inverse Fourier transformation of the signal, and you can add the something guard interval in between them. So this is the case of the OFDM transmitter. Here, as we have seen that the data stream is set in terms of the symbols. The modulation technique that can be used is a quadrature modulation, pi/4 modulation technique is used. Here each symbol is assigned to the subcarriers. Why subcarriers? Because here in case of FDMA, that is 1 to 6 types of subcarriers are possible. So that's why here each symbol is assigned to one of the subcarriers. Then we have to take the inverse fast Fourier transformation, and then you can say that in both the cases for the OFDM the limitation is it is very sensitive to the phase and frequency noise, so we should take care of that particular point, otherwise it will offer the narrower bandwidth and more controllable power level compared to the CDMA. So this is the limitation of OFDM, that it is very sensitive to the phase and frequency noise. Used for the correcting the pulse shape as we needed. Next is CSMA. CSMA means carrier sense multiple access. Each terminal on the network is able to monitor the status before it can be transmitted. So here there are two types of delay that can be possible, is detection delay or propagation delay. So detection delay is when the packet is transmitted from the transmitter to receiver, the time required for that is called as a detection delay, and to propagate it will be given as a function of the TD and TP. So here this is a formula of the detection delay. So it can be given by the TD is equal to TP into RB divided by N, where TP is the propagation delay, RB is the rate, and M is the number of expected number of bits in data packets. There can be various classification of the types of CSMA. First one is one persistent CSMA. One persistent CSMA is the terminal transmits the message with probability 1. Means the message is transmitted with one probability, then it can be called as a one persistent CSMA. Non-persistence means it has to wait for some random time interval, either 1 second or 2 seconds, but that time is not fixed, as we have seen in the one persistent that it will be we have to wait for probability 1. While in case of non-persistence it waits only for the random time interval before the next retransmission. In case of P persistence means it will be transmitted with probability P, and the other packet is transmitted with the probability 1 minus P probability. So here first packet is transmitted to the first available slot with probability P, and with the other packets it should be transmitted with the probability 1 minus P. Next one is CSMA-CD. This carrier sense multiple CSMA-CD. User monitors the transmission for collision, and if the collision occurs, then it will retransmit that particular channel. For the CSMA case, there can be different access methods. CSMA-C8 means collision avoid, and CD means collision detect. Here there can be two types of terminals can be possible. First one is the hidden terminal, and second one is the exposed terminal. So in this case, you can see that in figure, the terminal C, if we talk about first terminal A, then in this case the terminal for terminal A, terminal D is the hidden terminal. If the user at terminal A want to transmit data to the terminal C, then for terminal A user, the terminal D user is called as a hidden terminal. In case of exposed terminal, you can see that the terminal B and C, these both terminals are exposed to the terminal at the end A and terminal that is present at point D. So point B and point C users are called as the exposed users for terminal A user as well as for terminal D user. Means both at terminal A and terminal D user can access the B and C at a time. Okay, so up to this in unit number 4, if you have any queries or doubt, you can ask me on my email ID. Thank you for watching.